time. Let's celebrate. Today, I've got 5 practical ways for you to celebrate finishing your draft. Well, I have to admit that I have been guilty of forgetting to celebrate. I finish one thing and then I'm off to the next thing, and I often just forget that stopping and pausing and enjoying the accomplishment of what is finished. And this is such a big one that I think it warrants special attention. So today I want to give you some ways to celebrate this thing that you have done, finishing the draft of your book. Idea number 1 is just to tell someone. Let other people celebrate with you. Report it on your social media, call up your best friend and say, I did it. Tell your significant other it is finished. Let someone else know who can encourage you and celebrate with you. And who knows, maybe they'll prompt some new ways to celebrate with you. You know, you may be doubting your reason to celebrate. You may be thinking, well, it's still just a draft. It's not a published book. But if you remember from yesterday's video, 97% of people that want to write a book don't get to this point. But you did. It's worth celebrating. You may be doubting, well, will it even get published? Well, that's a problem for another day. This is an essential step to get there, and you did it. It's worth celebrating. And who knows, sharing your victory may just be the encouragement that someone else needs to move into this 3% with you. And you may feel a little bit daunted by all that you still have to do. That's okay, because the rest of the journey doesn't diminish the victory of getting to this point. So tell someone, celebrate with another person. Idea number 2 is to go eat with someone special. Now, you might want to go out and eat to one of your favorite restaurants. You might want to dine in with a special meal. But the point is to mark this celebration with a special meal. You know, we celebrate with food all the time in every culture across the globe. We often celebrate big occasions like weddings, birthdays, graduations with food. And this is an opportunity to use that same style of celebration with the finishing of your draft. So enjoy a special meal, and maybe you'll even have dessert. Idea number 3 is to treat yourself to a special writing tool. Maybe you've had your eye on something that you've been wanting. Now is the time to reward yourself with that. You might even name it something that pairs it with the finishing of this draft. Now is the time to splurge on something expensive if you've had your eye on something. But if your budget doesn't warrant that, you don't have to get something expensive. Even a small, nice fountain pen might be just the thing for keeping on your desk next to that Post-it note and reminding you, I bought that fancy pen when I finished the draft of that book. And that association is a positive association that'll keep you writing. And even if your manuscript doesn't get published, you have still earned the right for that special writing tool because you did the work. Idea number 4 is to plan an artist date. If you are a writer, you are an artist. You spend a lot of time working on the artistry of stringing words together in a way that creates pictures for your readers. Julia Cameron, in her book, The Artist Way, talks about these artist dates. And I think they're a fabulous way to feed your creativity, to nourish your artist's heart, and in this case, to celebrate the finishing of a draft. Go to a museum, take a painting class, go for a hike, or enjoy a completely unscheduled afternoon. Feed your artist's heart with a rainbow of ideas. And idea number 5 for celebrating finishing your draft is to do something to increase your knowledge or skills in writing. So maybe take a class that you've been eyeing, sign up for a course, buy a book, or join that writers group. Do something to nourish the writer that you are, to give yourself the attaboy. You know, sometimes as writers, we don't think that we deserve those little extra things, but finishing a draft proves that you do. You deserved it long before you finished your draft, but now that you have, this might be the nudge that you need to recognize that you are a writer. And those tools for writing are essential for your identity as a writer. You know, I don't believe that celebrations need to be expensive, but if there's a time when they should be, it's now. It's at the time where you are celebrating finishing a big milestone step towards your book. You've been working on your book for a while now. You showed up to write for about 100 days. You've been writing 500 words day after day after day. I bet some of those days you wrote more than 500 words. But the important thing is that you showed the persistence and the tenacity to finish your draft, and that is what you are celebrating today. So make it a splurge if it needs to be. Acknowledge that you have done something big. And wouldn't it be cool to point to something and say, this was my reward for finishing my draft? What would that thing be for you? And while you're at it, take a minute to reward me for 96 out of these 100 videos to encourage you in writing. Click on the circle and subscribe to my channel right now if you would. It'll just take a second. And then you can watch this video or this playlist next.